So today we'll be taking a look at what led Vince McMahon to punch Keith Lee and the entire story behind that situation. We'll also be diving into big news about Alexa and Charlotte's new acting role as well. Before we get into it, make sure you drop a like and subscribe with all notifications on if you're new. Let's start this off with Keith Lee and Vince McMahon's story. How did that come into play? Well, Keith Lee may be new to the main roster this year, but it wasn't his first appearance on WWE television at all. Similar to a lot of WWE superstars, Keith Lee first stepped into the WWE as a background extra that was playing the role of a security guard. Technically speaking, Keith Lee's first Monday Night Raw appearance was March 30th, 2009. Yes, Keith Lee was actually on screen during Monday Night Raw well over 10 years ago. WWE still has a segment uploaded as well. It's titled Triple H and the McMahons Attack Legacy. In this segment, Triple H, Shane McMahon, and Vince McMahon all teamed up to take out Randy Orton and the rest of Legacy. But before the McMahons could get to Randy Orton in the ring, they had to get through security. So what was Keith Lee's role during this segment? Keith Lee had the honor of getting punched by the chairman himself, Vince McMahon. Keith Lee recently explained the entire story and what led up to that moment during a new WWE Network special. He had this to say about that situation. Someone came up to me and was like, if you're gonna get punched by Vince McMahon, you need to go down. I'm like, hey, no problem. And I'm pretty sure that whoever that was played a joke on me, because the moment that the McMahons came down and Vince McMahon jawed me, and when I say he jawed me, he jawed me. So I go down and he looks confused. Of course. Why would the 300-pound dude go down from one punch? And when they were done with the others, it was like there was no way we're done with a big guy. So they picked me up and I was like, what did I do to deserve this? So that's interesting to hear about what was going on behind the scenes in that segment. They informed Keith Lee to go down from one punch from Vince McMahon. But according to Keith Lee himself, Vince McMahon looked stunned when Lee fell to the floor after just one punch. Looks like Vince was expecting to hit him a few times before he went down. Like Keith Lee also said, it didn't end up with just the punch. They also picked him up and threw him into the barricade, something that he wasn't really expecting. So that also caught him by surprise there. Of course, everything ended up working out for Keith Lee. He went from being an extra that was being laid out by Vince McMahon to main eventing Raw himself. So you can say things definitely went Keith Lee's way following that punch from Vince McMahon. So we got some big news here that we all pretty much saw coming. We've been hearing for months now that Charlotte Flair was filming several different projects. So this news wasn't so much of a surprise for her. But it is a surprise for Alexa Bliss. There were rumors earlier this year that Alexa could seriously make an impact on Hollywood if producers continued to notice her, and it seems like someone finally went right ahead and signed Alexa to a role. It's not a real shocker for Alexa Bliss either. You look at her recent acting on WWE television, and you can tell that she has a skill set for projects that are pretty much bigger than just WWE television. And it looks like we're finally seeing Alexa Bliss make her acting debut in this television series. So what's going on here? How did this word get out? Strangely enough, word leaked out thanks to Devon Dudley's comments during a fan's cameo that he was doing. Devon had this to say during that specific cameo. I'm out here in LA helping produce a show with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. It's Punky Brewster. It's an old 80s show here in America that we basically used to watch as a kid, and it's coming back like everything else in the 80s. So now I'm out here producing and helping and choreographing just like I do in WWE right now. So Devon just slipped that out during the cameo like it was nothing. But that's pretty big news that no one really knew about. Sure, the Punky Brewster reboot was announced earlier this year, but at no time did they announce the casting of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So it's a bit confusing. Are Alexa Bliss and Charlotte just helping out with the production of the show? It doesn't seem like it. The way Devon spoke made it seem like Alexa and Charlotte will be actual characters during the episode. Is it a one-time thing? Will they be reoccurring characters? We don't know. It's way too early to tell, but telling by Alexa and Charlotte's busy schedules, it's likely going to be a one episode sort of thing. But either way, this is some really exciting news. We've been discussing for a while now how interesting it would be for Alexa Bliss to take her acting outside of the WWE And it appears that we're finally going to see that here with this episode. Alexa's acting is amazing, but how will it translate to a television show? That's going to be interesting to see. I also hope that Charlotte and Alexa aren't playing their WWE characters on the show. Like I said before, I just want to see them portray a brand new character for the show and just see how that goes. Either way, this is big news for both Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. All it takes is one little role like this to get you really noticed in Hollywood, so who knows where their acting careers could go after this. So let's hope it takes off for the both of them. Big E finally returned to SmackDown recently with a new attire, new theme song, and new entrance graphics, and just a whole new makeover. He even brought back the chalk for his entrance. This is really big. We know that WWE has big plans in mind for Big E, and all the fans are behind him as well, so this could turn out pretty amazing, since all things seem to be going perfectly for him. This also is the first time that Big E has been solo in a long time, if you really think about it. Big E was called up to basically be the bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. Then he was with The New Day for the last 5 to 6 years. So he's never really had an extended time by himself on the main roster. So in a way, you could say that this is really his singles debut. He's been tied down to other people throughout his entire main roster career, but this is it. This is the real thing now. He's finally on his own with big plans ahead. It's even being reported that Big E may be the next #1 contender for Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship. It previously looked like Daniel Bryan was in position to be the next contender, but reports claim that WWE could go another direction and go with Big E instead. Then who knows what could happen from there. Maybe Big E does pull off the big title win. It'll be perfect for Big E. Glad they're not just rushing him into the Universal title picture just to lose to Roman Reigns. Have it be a slow grind to get there. Maybe he wins the Intercontinental Championship, has a lot of big feuds and matches, and then he can start turning his attention towards the Universal title. It'll be the perfect story for him. But be on the lookout for Big E. Huge things are on the way from him in the very near future. What are your thoughts on today's wrestling news? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.